I'm going to show you how to make a completely automatic one chunk bamboo farm that will auto craft whatever it is you want out of the bamboo and work no matter where in the world you are, even if you're in the Nether or the End. You will have bamboo products for days when you make this, and you don't even have to craft the things I suggest. You can craft whatever you want. It's entirely up to you. Let me show you how to make it. These are the blocks that you're going to need to use if you want to build it exactly the way that I have. Now, a lot of those structural blocks were added in extra. They're not actually necessary. They're just cosmetic. You can use whatever structural block it is you want to use. I'm using bamboo mosaic because it's a bamboo farm. You can use cobblestone if you want. It's entirely up to you. Same for the slab, same for the stairs. Also, the ice and the soul sand say Java only. I'll explain why that is a little bit later on in the video. Let's get on and make it. And this entire build sits within a single chunk, but if you want to expand it out from this and make it even more productive, you go for your life. It's entirely up to you. And we need to dig just a little bit of our chunk out. This template here shows you how you're going to do it. Anything white, we are going to dig down 1. Anything yellow, we're going to dig down 2. And anything red, we're going to dig down 3. Those red stripes are 5 long and 1 wide. And we've got a little purple one that I'll talk about how far we're going to dig down in just a minute. The pink and blue on the side and the bottom allow you to count how many blocks we're moving across. Feel free to take a screenshot of that so you can follow it along. Let's go. So it should look like this when you've done it. First off, we're going to start playing with the powered rails, normal rails, levers, redstone, repeaters, comparators, redstone torches and trapdoors, so grab some of them. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to come along to this 3x2 that you've dug out 1 deep. You're going to place a comparator in the corner facing outwards, right click on it so this little nib lights up. You right click on it again, it turns off, but make sure you right click on it until it is alight. You're then going to place a repeater, 1, 2, 3 right clicks on that one, and then come the other side and place a repeater going the opposite direction, 1, 2, 3 clicks on that. So that is 4 ticks on each of those. You're going to put a redstone dust there, 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 and there. You're then going to get another repeater. You're going to place it there, and you're going to get another repeater, and you're going to place it right there. You're then going to come down to any one of your 3 deep channels. You're going to jump right down into it. Place a redstone dust there, a redstone dust there, redstone dust there, redstone dust there, a repeater, but don't click on it. Whatever you do, don't click on it. A redstone torch, and then you're going to get a lever, and you can place the lever right there. You're going to repeat that in all 3 of these 3 deep channels. You're then going to get 2 powered rails and place 1 there and 1 there, and then fill up the rest of this trench with standard rails. You're then going to get a lever and place the lever next to the second one, not the end one, but the second one just there. Doesn't matter which way around you put it, it's completely doesn't matter at all. And then you're going to come around here and you're going to place a lever right behind this comparator right there. That's the first bit complete, and you should have something that looks a little bit like that. Now people, I designed this myself and I am not mumbo jumbo, so I'm not an expert in redstone. So in the comments, please tell me how can I make any part of this farm, especially the redstone, more efficient. I'd really be interested. You're then going to get some of the blocks that you dug out and place in shift click against the edge of that repeater. Assuming this is a conductive block, not a transparent one, we're going to place a block right there. We're then going to place another block right there and another block at the end there. We're also going to place a block above these 3 redstone torches, and then on these we're going to place a redstone torch there, a redstone torch there, and a redstone torch there. If you're in the right place, they should go out. We're also going to place a redstone torch there, redstone torch there, and redstone torch there, and they should not go out. You can then cover up this entire trench except for the last block, cover up that entire trench except for the last one, cover up this entire trench except for the last one, and on the last one we're going to place a trapdoor there, a trapdoor there, and a trapdoor there. But what is this redstone for? Well, I'm going to tell you. It's to control our 3 Autocrafters, and it's in 2 parts. This first part here is what gives the Autocrafters their power. If I throw that, you can see that we end up with a clock. It's a relatively slow clock, and it means we get these redstone torches flashing, which are going to power the Autocrafters. And these 3 levers here, what allow us to turn the different Autocrafter supplies on or off. If I switch them on like that, the redstone torches at the back go on, and that means there won't be a supply to that particular autocrafter, which means you can have 1, 2, 3 or none of the autocrafters on at the same time. And for now, I'm going to leave all 3 of them on and this off. We're going to make our first autocrafter module. There are 3 different lanes, one for each of the 3 crafts that we're going to do: sticks, planks and blocks. Now, depending on which one you want to craft the most of will depend which lane you put it into, because lane 1 here is likely to be able to make the most. So I'm going to make lane 1 my double crafted system. I'm going to place a temporary block on top of that redstone block. You don't need to shift click, it just lands on top of it. On that, I'm going to place a crafter, and then I'm going to shift click another crafter. You'll see the faces are facing towards you, and these little ear things, well, they are facing forwards as well. I'm then going to get a chest, and it doesn't matter which side you do it, from that side or from that side, it doesn't matter, but you want a double chest right there. You're going to get a hopper, and you're going to shift click a hopper into the back of that chest. You can see the nib is facing towards the chest, and then standing on the chest, I'm going to shift click a chest on top of that hopper. I'm then going to get rid of this temporary block, and I'm going to get a hopper, and I'm going to shift click it into the back of that crafter. So we've got a hopper going into the crafter, crafter going into another crafter, crafter going into a chest, chest going down into a hopper, and that hopper going into a double chest. And we now need to program these crafters. If we left click on the back craft, you can see the entire grid is open. It says click to disable slot. What that means is if you right click on it, it closes that slot out and it won't let anything go in. But this particular one, we want it completely open, every slot open. Then on the next one, right click on that. We want all of the surrounding slots closed like that, so only one slot is open. And actually, in reality, it doesn't matter which one it is, as long as only one of them is open, because you need 1 block of bamboo to make 2 sets of planks. So as soon as the block of bamboo goes in there, that will craft, and we'll get our planks out the other side. That single redstone torch there will power both of those crafters, which is just as well, because the back crafter will only fire when we get an entire block, which means the second one will fire when it gets those blocks inside it, and it should work beautifully. Now, the other 2 lanes are exactly the same, with the exception is we don't have that second crafter in there. We've only got 1 crafter because we only need 1 stage. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put 2 hoppers into the back of each of those, and then we're going to program these 2. Now, depending on which one you want, you can either have sticks in this one and the blocks in this one, or vice versa. I'm going to put the blocks in this one here, so right click on that, you can see my entire grid is open. And in this one we want sticks, and to do that we want 2 bamboo, one above the other. So I'm going to left click on all of those to disable those ones, so they'll only go in those 2, and as a result we'll make sticks. We are then going to place a chest sideways on each of these hoppers like this. If I can actually get on there, I'm just doing this in the way you would do it in survival, so as it makes more sense. One there and another one like that, and then we're going to turn these into double chests. So I'm going to shift click one on the side of that, shift click one on the side of that, and shift click one on the side of that, and I'm going to leave that like that just for now. We're going to connect that up in just a moment, but what I want to do now is make the actual farm bit. But before I do, I need to do just 2 extra blocks. I need to put 1 block on top of that hopper and 1 block on top of this hopper, and what that does is it stops that hopper from looking upwards, and especially if you're on a server, that reduces lag ever so slightly, and it'll also stop anything falling in by accident and messing up your crafting recipe. I've just put an item frame with the things that we're going to make on the front of those chests, but you don't have to do that, it's completely up to you. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just outline my farm. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Next to that lever you should have a gap of 4 to the edge of your chunk. I'm using bamboo mosaic blocks for no reason other than the fact that this is a bamboo farm, but I would have thought if you need a bamboo farm, you've probably not got a lot of bamboo, and as a result of that, you probably don't want to be making bamboo mosaic blocks your building block. It's entirely up to you. As long as you use a building block that works for your aesthetic or fits in with your village, it really doesn't matter. When you get down to the other side, you're going to go 1, 2, 3 and 4 like that. You're then going to come with a chest, and you're going to place a chest on top of this powered rail here, the one that's next to the lever, and then you're going to put another chest next to it in this direction to leave a hole right here. You're then going to get a hopper, you're you're going to place a hopper in the back of that side and also a hopper in the back of that side. Now, I warn you, yes, we're going to use a lot of iron, but I've got a really good one chunk iron farm design you can use, which means you're never ever going to have to worry about iron again. All these hoppers will be nothing to you. The link will be in the description below, and hopefully I remember to edit the image up on the screen. I'm then going to come with more hoppers, shift clicking 1, 2 and 3, so you should have one gap between this last hopper and the wall, and then I'm going to come all the way back to the wall. And then on this side I'm going to put an additional 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, which should put you just to the edge of where that rail is. Then stick one more on and come down 1 and 2 right next to it. That should be a total of 23 hoppers. Then shift click some mud on top of each one, 23 bits of mud. We're then going to get a temporary block on the end of one side and put a block on top of it, get rid of that block, and then we're going to trim all the way around the back of this mud with a single row. So you should have something that looks like that. Then standing on your mud, you are going to place a piston facing out towards the mud on every single block here. Obviously in the corners, when you get to them, you're only going to need the piston to face into one side, so you don't need another piston on this one. You're going to come around and put a piston all the way along here as well. Again, only need a piston right there. You don't need to place one here, but you are going to need one right there and right there. Then you're going to come behind and you're going to place a row of blocks behind the pistons all the way around, and where you've got the gaps here, you're just going to fill them in with whatever structural block you've got. So now it should look like that. I'm then going to put a redstone line all the way along the back of these pistons like that. I'm going to miss out these blocks because there's no piston to power. I'm going to come all the way around here, but on this time I am going to come around the corner so as I can power those two pistons. I'm then going to place a row of blocks above these pistons and another row on top of those. And here I'm going to get a temporary block kind of a little bit to the left of center of this back wall here. I reckon there is about right. I'm going to place one temporary block there, and I'm going to get an observer. I'm going to face my observer as close as I can without obscuring the block that way. So that redstone bum is facing downwards. It's really important that the bum is facing downwards and not the redstone face, because we want the redstone fart to hit this redstone line that we've just laid down. Then standing on the face of that observer that you've just placed down, pull backwards holding shift click so you can get as far out as you possibly can, and place another observer so as it's facing away from you. Again, the redstone bum is facing over the redstone face of that, which is not going to be nice when this one farts because that one will smell it. And then you're going to put a redstone dust on the face of this one with a jump, and you should hear those pistons fire. You're going to do the same about halfway down that row there. So you should have something that looks like this. And you are then going to get one more structural block and you're going to run it all the way around up to that observer, then go beyond it and then fill out the top level of this wall right here. We're then going to put some glass in, and I'm going to come along the mud here. So as you can see, I'm on my mud trail, and I'm going to place a block of glass right there. I'm going to build a row of glass all the way around the front of this mud right here like this. And again, you totally don't need to do this, but I'm going to press bamboo mosaic stairs or whatever structural block it is you're using on the front of this mud. It just hides up that mud a little bit. And I'm then going to build this up to the level of the observer. So I've got a block there. I'm going to place that block out. Might as well just go all the way to the top. And then I'm going to sort all the glass out along here right the way up to the same level. So you'll have something that looks like that. Now you're on the top of your farm, you can place down these bottom slabs. Now these bottom slabs have got a dual purpose. All of them, except for the ones on the glass where they're just decorative, to be honest with you, to make you look normal, are going to stop mobs from spawning on top of your farm, which would just be irritating, let's face it. But they also, the ones in the middle that go over the mud, are going to stop your bamboo from growing out of the top of your farm, which is going to be really annoying and become quite messy if you're not careful. And just follow the roof right the way to the end, and you never have to come back up here again. And you are then just going to shove a couple of blocks in there, and you're going to come temporary block, and you punch out these two blocks right here and come to the end of your mud. You are going to place a bamboo on all of your mud blocks. Now it'll look like they're not together, and in some of them it will look like there's some gaps that are too big, but trust me, as long as you're aiming at the mud block, they are all going on where exactly you want them to go. And once you get to the gap that you just walked through, block that up and get rid of your temporary block. So you should have bamboo already growing. Blimey, that one's grown quite quick. Already growing in your farm. And what's going to happen is when the bamboo goes up above those observers' faces, and you can put more observers on if you wanted to, if you want it to act more quickly, then that's going to fire those pistons, which is going to break all of the bamboo sticks except for the very bottom row, and that's going to be collected in those hoppers and put into that chest. But we need to get it from the chest into our crafters, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do now. So come inside your farm just here, and we have got our rail inside this little L shape. We're going to place one rail coming out there. We're then going to punch out that block, and we're going to place a block of redstone on it, and we're going to put a powered rail on top of that block of redstone. We're then going to get another normal rail, and we're going to kind of skirt around this redstone there. We're going to come there, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then we're going to punch that out. We're going to place a block of redstone in there, powered rail, and we're going to go one there and another one right there. Then we're then going to get ourselves one block there, 2 blocks there, 2 blocks there, and a block of redstone on top of that one, and then 2 more blocks, one there and one right there. Then we're going to come back down. We're going to get one rail there, one rail there, a powered rail right there, so that one glows, one there and one there. So it should look like this so far. If you wanted to, you could save yourself a little bit of redstone by this just being a normal block and there being a redstone torch on the upper side of that, and then placing yourself a powered rail on there. You can still, it has the same effect. Now we need to be able to get this stuff into these chests here. So what we're going to do is we're going to place shift click one hopper into that, shift click one hopper into that, and shift click one hopper into that. And then from this side, we're going to shift click a hopper into that one, shift click a hopper into that one, and shift click a hopper into that one. So you can see this chest is fed by 2 hoppers, this chest is fed by 2 hoppers, and this chest is also fed by 2 hoppers. We are then going to get a block on the side of that hopper, a block against that glass. On top of this, we're going to put a lever, I'm going to put a powered rail there, and all of these joining up are going to be normal rails right to the end, and I'm then going to throw that one on, so we've got power. We can then come inside and place a hopper minecart right on the edge there. When we turn this lever on, that hopper minecart is going to go backwards and forwards underneath this chest, pick up everything that's going on in there, run up here, go up this rail, and then feed into these hoppers, which feeds into these chests, and when they're unlocked, will feed into these hoppers. And this is why these hoppers only work when we've got the levers switched on and off, which just leaves us tidying up and making sure this works no matter where in the world you are. And that's where that little purple square comes in. Now, I'm sorry, Bedrockers, this chunk loader will only work in Java, so I'm really sorry about that. But you are going to take out this purple block, and with that being 1, you're going to dig down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You're going to place a soul sand, and then you're going to place an ice on top of that all the way up to the top. You are then going to dig down until you get back to that soul sand with this ice, and what you'll find is that shoots you right back up to the top because you've created yourself a little water chute. I'm going to place a temporary block right there, and then I'm going to place a trapdoor against the front of it, and I'm going to flip it up, and it's really important that this stays up. I'm then going to take away that wooden block because I need to place it somewhere else because the trapdoor's now in the way. We're going to put the temporary block in front of it now, and we're going to get our ender pearl, and you're going to want to throw your ender pearl right in the corner of this. Now, this doesn't always work first time, so if this doesn't work, let's have a go. Nope, oh, I got away with it. That's brilliant. Right, that ender pearl is now your chunk loader. I'm then going to get rid of this, and I don't want to be touching this ender pearl whatsoever. So let me just very carefully get that block back. There we go. Now, I don't want to flip that down because if I flip that down, that ender pearl is then going to transport me on top of the trapdoor. But what this will mean is no matter where you are in the world or the overworld or the end, your game will load this chunk, even if it's not in the spawn chunks. Doesn't matter where in the world it is, this chunk will stay loaded, so your farm will keep producing non-stop. Although it is worth mentioning, if you die, you are going to need to reset that. That is good for 1 life. So if I kill myself, that ender pearl will be gone, because there won't be the one of me that threw it in the world anymore. It'll be a brand new me. So that, I guess, gives you some idea of the existentialism of Minecraft. Is it truly you that respawns, or is it another version of you? Is this a multiple universe thing? I don't know. Answer in the comments. I'd be really interested to know what you reckon. And all that now leaves me to do is tidy up and spawn proof this place. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place some torches along here, because this is very definitely a spawnable area, and if there's no light, well, frankly, you're going to end up with mobs. So I'm going to get this light in here. That's going to stop that from being spawnable. What I am going to do is I'm going to build up these walls so they to make it look a little bit nicer. So for example, I'm going to pop a block in there, and I'm going to throw these blocks in there just to finish off this wall. Now this is utterly optional. You don't have to do this, so I guess I'll just leave it up to you with any cosmetic flourishes that you'd like to add to this farm. And that right there is my finished farm. It's only 1 chunk, so the growing pod isn't very big, but I said at the beginning you could expand this pretty much as big as you'd want to. Just remember to load every chunk that you've got a farm in. So I'm going to go in and get this fella started. All I need to do, throw that switch, and off it goes, and it starts to load stuff up. Now, we know we've already had some growth, because if we look at these bamboos, you can see they're kind of cut off at the base, and they're kind of square at the top. So we know that they've already had some cut off. Now, at the moment, these hoppers are locked, so nothing is going in to these hoppers, but there is stuff starting to load into these chests already. Now, I think it's a great idea to let this thing run just for a little while before you start to craft stuff, because you're going to have a decent amount of stuff in the back for you to be able to craft what it is you need. But theoretically, you can start it off straight away. First off, select the thing that you want to craft, and just for the sake of it, I'm going to select everything. So I'm going to put that there, and that there, and you'll see the 3 redstone at the back are now off, which means that these things are being loaded up. And if I just turn that switch on, that's going to start the clock going, and we will start to see things being crafted and thrown into our chest. If I have a quick look already we've got some bamboo planks, we've got a block of bamboo, and the sticks are coming through already. And that is a 1 chunk auto crafting triple action bamboo farm. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd be really interested to know. And what other 1 chunk farms would you like to see? And as I mentioned before, if you think you can make this more efficient, and I bet you can, I would love to hear from you. I'm not going to be offended. I know this is a little bit clunky. Feel free to finish this farm off in whatever way you would like, or leave it nice and open. I've got to be honest, I quite like the openness of it myself. It's entirely up to you. Build it with whatever block you like. I don't care. It's your farm. It's your world. Do what you want, and I will look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.